So I gotta go live. I have to go live because y'all have no idea how frustrated I am with what's going on in our country. I'm gonna try to be as nice as I can, but some of y'all can get your feelings hurt on this video. I am incredibly sick of the behaviors of the black people in this country that I see. This military army officer, or whatever the case may be, confronted a young man that's in his community. The young man don't live there. He supposedly got into a confrontation with another lady, which the young man admitted that he was in a confrontation. The guy told him to get out of my community. You don't live here, never seen you before. You're starting trouble over here. Get out of here. And now let me tell you what the Fabergé eggs of society, Jericho Green's quote, had to do. Black people got together to protest in front of this white man's house. I have never in my mother freaking life seen black people protest in front of a drug dealer house in their own community. I've never seen when these little kids get shot up in the community because Negroes doing drive-bys every weekend. I never see them in front of their house protesting, screaming, wanting justice. Black folks are the sorriest people in America. There's only a handful of us that can psychologically survive and that's woke enough to see what's going on. Why are black people so dumb? I'm embarrassed. When I walk out of my house every day, I hope to God that people don't think I'm dumb like the rest of these black people. Why are you protesting for thugs? Every time I turn around, I see mama on TV, daddy ain't there, or I see mama and daddy on TV talking about a kid that they raised that's a menace to society. You should go to prison. You shouldn't be on a press conference if you are Dante Wright's mom. You are a piece of crap. You raised a 20-year-old that's robbing people at gunpoint, going around with warrants, can't even have his registration done on his vehicle, and you on a press conference crying. You the problem. Your kid 20 and he robbing people at gunpoint, flashing guns and money and smoking weed and stuff on Facebook. You are a bad parent. Every single black person that have been killed by the police that I can remember or think of, all have crappy parents. All your mom and them getting on TV, acting like you Jesus Christ incarnate. Y'all Negroes are the scumbags of the earth. You know what? Let me tell you this. And I have to preface this because I don't think it's all black people, right? But it's most. I go out my house. I live in a majority white neighborhood. This is the safest that I've ever been in any neighborhood is when I'm around white people. When I'm around white people. When I grew up around black people, it was dangerous. Negroes shooting each other on the block, robbing you. You can't go to the corner store, can't go to Zoom In, can't go to QT. Why? Because dope boys out front, they think you in a gang, they'll rob you. And then show me, point out a black neighborhood. I'm talking about all black. I'm talking about 98% black. Show me a black neighborhood where you ain't got to worry about this. Show me a black neighborhood where the crime rate ain't out of control. Show me. I've lived there. I've been there. You got three neighborhoods? Okay, that's what I thought. Y'all raising thugs, and then you're celebrating even people who are even dumber. Michael Brown. They out here crying about Michael Brown. You got an 18-year-old man that's doing a strong arm robbery at a corner store. Decide he gonna fight a police officer for his gun. Y'all are problems. Black people in America are the most ridiculous, stupidest, hypocritical group of people that I've ever seen. How are you talking about white supremacy and your music is calling each other the N-word every single day of the week? Your music is talking about murder and killing other black people every day of the week. Your music that's primarily sponsored by black people are talking about prison life, teardrops in their eyes, big booty women who they smashing and ain't calling back. How are you complaining when that's your music? If country music was congruent, if rock music was congruent, I would say, okay. But y'all murdering and thugging in all your music videos. And then you wonder why somebody like Dante Wright is in Facebook videos waving guns around. Did you hear the music that was in his video on Facebook? One of you thugged out Negroes that can't control yourself.
I think that was a Major Williams song.
I think it may have been Major Williams' song back in the day when he was a rapper. But y'all are, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I want to I want to feel emboldened and empowered to say black people are really standing up. Colin Kaepernick is the dumbest person on planet Earth. A man who was raised by white people decided that he wanted to be black one day, grow his hair out, and then all of a sudden he kneeing for the national anthem. And then he go sign $1 million contract with Nike, who's run by white people. It doesn't compute to me. Colin Kaepernick, and they use Colin Kaepernick as an example. Everybody, they kicked him out of NFL because he was standing up for what was right. Well, wait a minute. Michael Vick killed dogs, which I think was even more egregious to white people than Colin Kaepernick taking a knee. He killed dogs, went to prison, got in the NFL and started. The person who's the most modern example of, and there's many people in the NFL that have been wanted for murder. They went to, they were investigated for murder. Some people have murdered other people and they still play in the NFL. Let's go to Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown is doxing the NFL commissioner. Doxing. He's secretly recording the NFL commissioner, his coach on the phone. He walking out the NFL, slamming his helmet everywhere. He's out in front of his house, calling police officers racial slurs, bad mouthing his baby mama. And Antonio Brown got picked up by Buccaneers and won a Super Bowl. But somehow Colin Kaepernick is the one that everybody's worried about. Colin Kaepernick sucked. His last season, he almost lost every game of the season. Colin Kaepernick wasn't good enough for the controversy that he was causing. Antonio Brown was good enough for the controversy. Antonio Brown can secretly record the commissioner and still play in the NFL because he was talented enough. Michael Vick was talented enough to go to prison and then play in the NFL. Ray Lewis is talented enough, and Jamal Lewis were both talented enough that they were wanted for investigation of a murder, which they were both present in a limousine of a man that was murdered, and they still played in the NFL after that. McAllister, who was the wide receiver for the Baltimore Ravens, killed a man in vehicular homicide, and he still played in the NFL. You got dudes beating up their wife. Hunt, the other guy, they ended up letting him back in the NFL, but he ended up not playing, beating their wives up on camera. They still playing in the NFL. Why, Mr. Tatum? Because their abilities make the NFL hundreds of millions of dollars, and their drama is worth the cost. When you suck at quarterback, and you're a one-dimensional quarterback, you almost won the Super Bowl, but you didn't because you had the best defense known to mankind. All right, let's keep moving. I have more. This police army veteran or a sergeant, he's an officer, I think. He may be a sergeant or officer, I can't remember. I don't think what he did was wrong, especially not with the information that I've seen. He is when the video starts, and I'm gonna make a video about this on my YouTube channel. When the video starts, he's confronting a man that don't live in the neighborhood. He said, "You don't live here. What are you doing here? We are a close-knit community right here, and I ain't never seen you a day in my life. You are causing problems in our community. I came out here. You were arguing with another young lady and getting into a problem with one of my neighbors. You need to move around. You need to get from around here." And the guy didn't even deny that he got into an argument with the neighbor. He's a drill sergeant. That he got into an argument with the neighbor. He claimed that it was the neighbor's fault. The guy said, "No, it doesn't matter. We know all of us in this community are tight knit, and you need to get out of here. You don't belong here." I would tell anybody the same thing, black, white, or green. If you come into my white community, if you want to use race on it, and you start causing problems with any of my neighbors, I'm going to tell you to get out of my neighborhood or you're going to get this work. I wouldn't even let him last that long. I would have slapped homeboy and drug him by his feet and drug him out of my community. You know why? Because I pay good money to live in this community. I pay good money to live in this community. And you ain't finna come in here causing problems. And somebody said, call the cops, call the cops. No, I'm going to call the cops after. Because I have a right to defend my property. I have a right to commit a citizen's arrest, too, in this state. And if you're committing a crime, you're doing something, I'm going to handle you, and I'll call the police to come pick you up. But you ain't finna, I'm not finna wait for the police to come so you can harass people in our community. It's not going to happen. And for all you suckers out there that are getting in a live stream saying, "Brandon, I want to talk about," why don't you black people do something positive so I can defend you? I don't have nothing to defend. I defend Candace Owens. I defend black conservatives. I defend Ben Carson. I defend black people that are doing right. But most of y'all ain't doing the right thing. I can't just defend you because you black. Give me a reason to defend you. Stop resisting arrest and I'll defend you. Stop taking police officers on a quasi high speed chase, taking them a mile and a half down the road where you won't stop, you won't put your hands out, you won't listen, you got a gun on your hip, and you still being combative. Negro, let me help you by doing the right thing. If you're walking through somebody's community, bro, you don't belong there, get out of there. Get out of there. Get out of people's community. Same thing if a white man was walking through a black community, arguing with somebody at the front door, and the black man said, bro, you better get up out of here before you get worked. Nobody would have a problem with that. But the weakest amongst us. Let me tell you the future of black people in America at this rate. There's going to be a remnant of black people. A remnant. Me, other conservative black people that see it, that are going to survive this. The rest of the dumb black people are like the Titanic. You're sinking down a ship. And there's only a few that's going to get it. And it's going to be able to flourish in this country, and they're going to survive in this country. The rest of you dummies that keep voting for these same politicians that's tearing down your community, you're not going to make it, man. You ain't going to make it. The same dummies that's out here protesting but won't protest in their own community. You go out and protest against a police officer that killed one black man. You won't even go protest any of the drug dealers that are giving drugs and killing all of these people in the black community. You won't do nothing. I didn't even see Sakaria Turner was killed. My page raised like $300,000 for this young lady. Sakaria Turner never made it to Black Lives Matter front page. Never made it to it. Nobody even heard about it. I wouldn't even known this girl had gotten killed if I didn't see it on the local news. Well, name something. Remember Tyshawn Lee, a young kid, Tyshawn Lee, I think he was like 8, 9 years old. His daddy was involved in the gang activity. Some gang members came and gunned him down. He's a 9-year-old. Gunned him down, put cigarette butts out on this kid, left him bleeding in the middle of an alley so his grandmother had to come and watch him with his brains hanging out. He didn't never make it to the front page of Black Lives Matter page. None of y'all will hear Crump or anybody defending his family for justice. None of y'all. I guarantee you, Memorial Day weekend, mark my word, I'm going to make a live stream on Memorial Day weekend so we can calculate the murders and shootings that happened in Chicago alone. Let's go into Chicago alone. I'm not going to go to the other hoods in the country. I'm not going to go to South Dallas. I'm not going to go to Baltimore. I'm not going to go to Watts. I'm not going to go to any of these black neighborhoods. I'm going to go straight. We're just going to focus on Chicago. And when there's 95 shootings in Chicago and 25 black people getting killed, I want to see some of you Negroes protesting in front of the house of these thugs out here killing. I find it interesting that when a brother kill another brother, y'all don't want to talk. It's G code. We don't talk. We don't cooperate with police. But then when a white man do something, y'all all cooperative. Y'all justice for all. Y'all the dumbest people in America, man. The dumbest people in America. We the dumbest people in America by per capita. How are y'all voting for Democrats at this point in the game? White people don't do that. Mexican people don't do that. But you black people are doing that. How do we have the highest abortion rate out of any group of people in America? Mexicans ain't having abortions. A lot of them are probably having 5, 6 kids. Why? Because they're populating the earth and they getting citizen status. They got the politicians writing laws for them. And y'all Negroes killing your own babies in Planned Parenthood that was formed by eugenicists. It's just dumb. Voting for Barack Obama, who did nothing for you Negroes. And then you get to the next election, you vote for Hillary Clinton, who pulling hot sauce out of bags and all this stuff. She had no plan for you Negroes. And then you go and vote for old creepy Joe Biden, who ain't got no plan for you Negroes, who spoke at the funeral of a Klans member, Robert Byrd. He did the eulogy. He didn't just speak. He did the eulogy of a former Klans member. And y'all dumb Negroes are voting for him. And let's keep going. Strom Thurmond was a racist who Joe Biden said was his mentor. He was a complete racist. What is the conclusion, Mr. Tatum? Strom Thurmond and Robert Byrd were both against the Civil Rights Movement. Democrats opposed the Civil Rights Act. Republicans, because of the Republican Party and white Republicans, they were able to pass the Civil Rights Act. We keep going down the list. You remember when your dumb president you voted for, you have brain dead black folks? And the reason I'm pointing out black people, because y'all the ones making the most noise. He just got on television and said, not every right is absolute. The 13th Amendment is not absolute. That freed blacks from slavery, that's not absolute. The 14th Amendment isn't absolute. That freed black people in the 14th Amendment gave them citizenship. Is that not absolute? The 15th Amendment gave them the right to vote. Is that not absolute? But y'all voted for this fool. And y'all run around talking about Orange Man bad. Dumbest people on planet Earth. You go to the average black household and you say, is Donald Trump a racist? Yeah, he's a racist. But Joe Biden isn't. And I just laid out at least 3 or 4 facts that should let you know that Joe Biden is probably more of a racist than Trump could ever be. But y'all too dumb to realize that. No legislation has been proposed for black people in this country. Y'all had Democrats in office for 100 years. Joe Biden's been, where's your reparations at? Barack Obama, the first black president in American history, where was your reparations? Did Barack Obama give reparations? Did Barack Obama mention reparations? He can sign an executive order for reparations if he wanted to. Or at least an executive order to do something for black people. Did he do it? Your first black president? No, he didn't. And y'all still supporting people just because of the color of their skin. So somebody explain this to me. Do you know the mayor of Brooklyn Center? You know the mayor of Brooklyn Center is black? Oh, but it's so racist. The mayor of Brooklyn Center is black. He's a black man. He's a dummy, but he's black. And what does your dumb black mayor say on TV? Police officers shouldn't have a gun at every traffic stop. The dumbest people on planet Earth. I don't understand how y'all not feeling hoodwinked. That dude Crump is at every major case. He's always up under somebody's armpit at a press conference. He down there with George Floyd's family. He got in the Uber and drove over to the press conference of Dante Wright's family. Why? Because there's a payout. You're not going to see him, you low-level Negroes that get killed in the hood on some nefarious means. He ain't going to be at your funeral. It ain't no money to be made off of you. Crump ain't going to be talking in no press conference in Chicago in the hood where black people are getting killed in an epidemic fashion. He's not going to talk about that. He's not going to talk about that. Nah. Black people like myself come out and tell the truth, and y'all call me Coon Uncle Tom. And do you understand that Uncle Tom was a hero? How y'all Negroes that dumb? Uncle Tom was a hero of the story. But you wouldn't know that because you don't read nothing because y'all dumb. Then you go out and listen to these half-baked black folks. And I'm trying not to say names because the name isn't important. The concept is important. You half-baked Negroes that's out here playing in the middle. Oh, but we need police reform. But what is police reform? You ain't never put a uniform on a day in your life. The fact that black people complain the most about police, but they're the least likely to be police officers, what are you talking about? Why are white people patrolling your community more than you are? Why? If you really cared, go fill out an application on the police department. If you really cared. But you don't care. You only want to get some selfie time. You only want to become famous at a traffic stop and get a payout. You don't care about your community. You don't care about your community. Because I'll ask anybody that's criticizing me right now, if you black, or have you become a police officer? Did you put on a uniform and serve and protect your own community? You probably didn't. Why? Because you don't care about your community. You leave it up to the white people to save you. That's what's happening. The white people are saving you. When they have these shootings in Chicago, it's going to be a lot of white people out there risking their life to protect y'all black folks. And you know when they don't snitch, it's going to be a bunch of white detectives that are out there trying to get to the bottom of who killed your son. But that's fine. It's fine. But only black people do this. When a white man gets shot, and I'm going to close this. When a white man gets shot, I don't see white people going and looting Louis Vuitton. I never seen that day in my life. When white people get shot unjustifiably, I don't see white people out here burning down their own communities. I don't see Mexican people doing it either. When they got illegal immigration going on, you know, a lot of Mexican people probably have family that come over here legally or illegally. When they do a Mexican wrong, I don't see Mexicans out here burning down their own community, jumping on police cars, shooting each other in riots and vandalizing. I don't see that. I don't see that. And don't say Antifa, because Antifa is a domestic terrorist group, and they ain't no different than Black Lives Matter. However, I don't see white people doing that. I don't see it. But I see black people do it all the time. Energy focused in the wrong area. If you're mad at the police department, why you downtown? If you mad at the justice system, why ain't you at the courthouse? Why you at Target? Why you at Target? Target didn't have nothing to do with this person's death, but you at Target right now, stealing stuff, and then nobody's standing up against it. Let me say this, and I'm done. Why do you talk this way, Brandon? Because I've lived around black people my whole life. When I was younger, I said when I was younger. When I turned 18 is when I moved and I started living around white people. I have been around black people. I've been around white people. I lived in all black communities. I lived in biracial communities. I've lived in all white communities. I think I said that. I lived in all these different places in many states. I don't understand how black people are patting themselves on the back and feeling good about anything that's going on in the black community. Like, there are some good, but there's a lot of bad. Why do you think the founder of Black Lives Matter didn't buy one of her $1 million houses in the black neighborhood? Why? Somebody tell me why? Okay, that's what I thought. Why is none of these athletes that make stupid money, why don't they live in these black neighborhoods? Where's LeBron James' houses at? Oh, okay. I'm waiting to hear back from y'all. Why all these rappers that's telling you shoot this N-word, run up on homeboy, I got the stick out, all this other stuff. I'm smashing your girlfriend and you know it, and I had on Instagram. Like, all this stuff y'all saying, where they live at? Where Rick Ross live at? He live in Atlanta, but where does Rick Ross live at?
No, he lives in Miami.
Oh, no, he got a house in Atlanta. I saw it. Big old crazy mansion in Atlanta. That's like $20 million house, or probably more than that, in Atlanta. Where is that? Where he live at though? Oh, okay. If black people really cared about black lives and they also gung ho about black people, then why don't you buy up properties?
Someone said because $1 million homes are not available in predominantly black neighborhoods.
Why?
Why not?
Why? Then let's talk. Why are $1 million homes? Why are $1 million homes not available in these neighborhoods? Now let me tell you something about $1 million homes, because I'm on Zillow all the time. Why a home can be $1 million home is based on the square footage and what it's worth and how big the house is. Now, all of you dumb Negroes who are even making these comments, if you wealthy and you got money, y'all can buy up properties in the black neighborhood. If you go to the black neighborhood right now, some of these low income neighborhoods, with the amount of money that you spend on a mansion in Beverly Hills, you can buy like 25 houses on one block and renovate all those houses and have them as properties. You could buy up apartment complexes, renovate those apartment complexes, make an investment into the black neighborhood, gentrify your own communities. But you don't. But they don't. They don't. But you know who does? You got these people who are smart enough to say, I'm going to move my house out into the suburbs. I'm going to build a 8,000 square foot house over here where the property value is going up and all of the above. I could buy a house right now. I was looking on Zillow. They got an open lot in Fort Worth, Texas, where I grew up at, right where I grew up at, right off of Berry. I think it's off of Berry in the A20. It's a vacant lot right there. It's a big old vacant lot. It almost looks like a commercial lot. I can go out right now and invest my money and buy an apartment complex and have it built right there in the hood. But you know, like, I don't have enough money to do that right now because I'd rather focus on communities that are flourishing right now. But when I have an influx of money and I kind of don't care about the property value to a certain degree, and I'm guessing that it'll have an investment, I want to take chances, I'll go buy property like that. But some of these big time people that got $100,000 on their neck, gold teeth in their mouth worth $200,000, why don't they go do it?
So someone said, I don't see you helping in buying black neighborhoods because it's not a good investment.
It's not a good investment at this point. So let me give you an example.
That's why there's no $1 million homes. It's not a good investment.
Because it's too much crime. Like, the property value is down. It's too much crime in the area. Nobody wants to move into these areas. Now, however, if I had a lot more money than I have now, if I was a billionaire or something, then I could take chances in investing in properties like that. But right now, I'm trying to make the most bang for my buck as well. I believe in capitalism. There's apartments in Fort Worth, Texas by TCU that I want to buy, apartment complex that I want to buy. There's apartment complex in Dallas that I want to buy. Very reasonable. I can get into those apartment complexes and buy them. They're very nice. They new. They're renovated. They're in a nice area. The property value in the area is going up by the minute. That's what smart people do. That's what your Black Lives Matter people do. But yet they claim that they want to be in the black community. If somebody say they wonder why I don't buy in these black communities, I know why I don't buy it. I'm not up here protesting Black Lives Matter and acting like I'm a black activist. I'm an American activist. So I don't care what color you are. However, if you're out here bashing people and talking bad about police and talking bad about white people, yet you won't gentrify your own community. I don't understand what y'all talking about. I lived in Fort Worth, Texas. I remember when the inner city of Fort Worth, the projects downtown Fort Worth, my daddy lived in the projects when he was younger. I knew people living in the projects. My family member living in the projects. Projects downtown, project housing. My daddy and we moved out to the suburbs in Crowley when I was in high school or middle school to high school. We moved out to Crowley, predominantly white community, but it had a mixture of people, but it was predominantly white. Nice neighborhood, everything, people walking their dogs, property value is looking good, it's all clean and whatever. They moved the projects right across the railroad tracks from my dad's community out there in Crowley. The sports teams got better, but the community went to crap. Burglaries went out the roof, all of these things. So what happened? Not black people, not your gang banging and thugs that's rapping and they grew up in Fort Worth, Texas. White people said, we're gonna go downtown and we're gonna renovate downtown. They moved the projects, they moved these poor people who are causing all these problems, they move them out to the suburbs. We're gonna go back and reinvest in downtown. Now, downtown Fort Worth is unrecognizable to me from when I grew up. They got restaurants everywhere. They got high rises. They have created a mecca in downtown Fort Worth of property value, investments, and businesses. But you know, white people go and do this. Y'all go buy gold chains and stuff. And I'm not saying everyone, but I'm just look at it. Look at what I'm saying. How many properties do these rappers own? How many properties do these people own? Why in the NFL that's predominantly black have the biggest bankruptcy numbers that you've seen in any profession? Most of these rappers, most of these NFL players, they go bankrupt. They got millions of dollars and they blow them down the drain. All you gotta do, I followed a couple dudes in the NFL draft. I followed a couple dudes that I thought was amazing. I'm like, I can't wait to see them flourish in the NFL. I'm following them on their page. They get drafted in the first round, and homeboy got a Ferrari in his front yard. He got gold chains. He wearing a Fendi jumpsuit. First thing we do is go straight to the looks, because we don't understand the value of currency. And Derek used to say this all the time. We care about social currency. We don't care nothing about financial currency. Then we get mad because white people pass finances down generation to generation. We don't. We don't pass money down to generation to generation. We trying to live it up while we alive today. And then we go to prison for selling drugs and our kids don't get nothing. And the police officer get all your vehicles. They commandeer all your vehicles. And then they drive them around in other states as undercover vehicles. How do you know this, Mr. Tatum? Because I got family members that didn't pass their family nothing. Running around, buying houses cash, had a Corvette, had the latest Escalade with the rims on it, got money out the buku, going to the strip club every night, went to prison for 40 years. What did he leave behind? They confiscated all of his money. They confiscated all of his vehicles. He had nothing to leave to my cousin them. Nothing. I'll give you a perfect example. Jay, I'm gonna call him Jay. Y'all don't need to know my relationship to Jay. I knew Jay for 10 years. Jay was a rapper. He knew Snoop Dogg before Snoop Dogg was around. Jay was a big time gang banger and drug dealer. Jay had so much money you couldn't even imagine. Jay would buy stuff cash, whatever the case may be. Mind you, Jay was selling heroin to other black people. Jay ended up taking heroin. He OD'd on heroin. And died. What did Jay leave his children? Nothing. He had nothing to leave them. Yeah, I could go down the list. Do y'all want me to keep going?
Some Dooney bags.
Yeah, Dooney Bird. He left behind a Mercedes. I think they confiscated the Mercedes. He left behind
some Louis duffel bag.
I don't know what he left behind. His kid didn't have nothing. Thank God he wasn't my dad. He didn't have nothing. Left him nothing behind. Y'all look at all these rappers and stuff. What they leaving behind? They can't leave that behind. They going bankrupt. 20 years from now, Lil Fizzle and them, they gonna be bankrupt like a mug. Or they gonna be in prison. Tekashi 6ix9ine is a perfect example. Tekashi 6ix9ine, that dude got so much money it's falling out of his pocket, mumble rapping, talking about stupidity, and y'all buying his records. However, you see he went to prison. Now, just imagine if he didn't snitch on people and get out of prison. He would have lost everything. What is he gonna pass down to his children? You can't pass drug money to your kids. Because when the law enforcement come and get your money, they getting all of it. They take your money. You know how I know? Because I was a cop. And they take your cars. And they send them to auction. So you riding around in a Bentley, you riding around all this stuff, and you selling dope, and they come get you, they taking all your stuff. Mama ain't finna have your car. Anyway, I've seen it happen. I love riding around in drug dealer cars doing stings on the police department. I'm like, dang, I wonder who was driving this car last week. Then he had DVD screens in here and everything. Spinners and everything. Now the undercover riding in his car with the spinners on it. It's a cultural thing that nobody want to talk about. But Big Tatum had to be the big bad black guy. Had to be the Uncle Tom sellout. Well, somebody need to tell the truth, because y'all not gonna tell the truth. I grew up in the hood. I know how hood mentality is, and it's destructive. It's destructive. How do you know, Brandon? Because I used to want to live that life. I got Young Savage tattooed across my stomach. Man, me and my brother wanted to be gangbangers and stuff. My cousin jumped me and my brother into a 5 Deuce Hoover crib when we were little. Destructive.
You want to rob people from the J's?
I would have robbed people if I'd have kept going down that path, but it's a bad culture. It's not good for you. I patrolled in poor black areas and I patrolled in poor white areas. There's elements of crime in black poor areas that don't exist anywhere else.
The government designed it that way, Brandon.
Yeah, I know. Oh, that's right. Yep. Yep.
White people designed it that way.
I always blaming the white people, man. It's just crazy to me, man. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. This is a secret. This is a little secret that black people won't tell you. And if you ever got them to tell you the truth, this is what I want you to ask your friends. All these SJWs that's black, and they go, oh, well, I don't have this. Okay, ask them. I guarantee they had a white mentor in their life that did incredible work for them, but they don't ever want to bring that person up. Colin Kaepernick had a white family that took care of him all the way through to he's 20-some years old. He don't want to talk about that. Let's keep going. My wife know a person who had his coach took care of him, loved on him, and now he's an SJW. Now he want to go around act like the white man ain't never done the white man. I mean, the white man took care of you, bro. Black man didn't.
Move him and his brother.
Move him and his brother into his house so that they can go to a good school and so they can get an opportunity at getting a scholarship and playing ball. Oh, but he ain't never gonna tell you about that person. You know, I talk about my story. Dunbar High School, Coach Jones, all black hood school that most white people will never go to. This white man, Coach Bob Jones, decided that he was going to be the martyr because the black people didn't want to do this. No talented black coaches would even think about coaching at Dunbar, at least ones that will make us successful. The white man comes along, Coach Jones comes along and turns Dunbar High School program around. It was him and our linebacker coach was white. He turned our program around. We had 9 Division I athletes on one football team, 4 U.S. Army All-Americans on one football team. He created more scholarships, more looks, more success at Dunbar High School than any coach in history. He was a white man. I guess, they want to tell you the white man, hey, no, that white man loved us. He cared about us more than black people did. And he helped us make it. When I had my son, I didn't even have a job, and because I had just graduated college. My son's mom was finishing college, and a white man, nobody at my church came to me in this way. Maybe they didn't have the means to do so. But when I had my baby, because we were at a church and I had my baby out of wedlock, people didn't even want to talk to me about it at my church. They wanted like on a hush hush. Nobody helped me throw a baby shower or nothing. At my black church with all black people, they didn't do a special offering to help Brother Brandon out. They didn't do nothing. Now there's a lot of people that I love and they're great people. All I'm saying is they didn't do nothing. When the rubber hit the road, they didn't do nothing. This white man decided, because we chose life and we didn't have an abortion, that he wanted to help us. He paid our rent for a whole year. He gave me money and he mentored me. That man didn't have to do none of this. He didn't have to do nothing for me. He mentored me. To this day, I still talk to him. He paid for my son to go to college anywhere in the country that he wanted to go to. He paid for my son to go to college anywhere. A white man did this. And it's not that a black man couldn't do it or whatever it may be, but that's not the reality that I live. A white man did that for me. And that tells me that Y'all need to stop with all this racial stuff, acting like it's black versus white. There's a lot of white people that black people wouldn't even be where we at today if it wasn't for white people. I don't understand how we missed this train. If it wasn't for white people, black people wouldn't even be in America. We'll be still over in Africa struggling. I mean, if white people didn't care about and love black people, we'll still be slaves right now. Y'all realize that? We would still be slaves to other white people. If white people didn't really love black people and care about black people like that, Harriet Tubman would have made it nowhere. Harriet Tubman wasn't aliens didn't abduct Harriet Tubman and transport her and black people to the north. White people risked their lives so that black people can be free from them racist Democrats in the South. Y'all want to keep going? Black people having the right to citizenship came through white people voting for it. Black people having the right to freedoms that we see today had white people voted for them. Now there's the Democrat white people who are evil, and all you gotta do is look at your history. But white people is the one who gave us these opportunities. I'm just saying. Now, and that wasn't all white people, because Martin Luther King stood up for what was right. But white abolitionists, the one that helped black people get where they at. White Christians. Stop. Y'all need to stop living in zombie land. Most of your schools, most of your stuff is built on principles established by white people. I want y'all to go back, and I'm done. I promise. I'm done after this. What society would you rather live in? An all-black society or a white society? Do your math. What country do you want to live in Africa? What government structure would you rather live in on the continent of Africa? Choose one. What African constitution do you think supersedes the American Constitution? If that is the case and you find one, why don't you move back to Africa? You can save your money up. African flight for you and your family, I don't know, maybe like $2,000 or $3,000. You save your money up, move back to that continent, and move back to that continent, or move back to the country on the continent of Africa that you can flourish in, and stop complaining about America. Because then you can go to a continent where it's all black. You all black. You can be your black utopia that you think is going to happen to you. Go live in a country that's all black. And you tell me that colorism ain't going to affect you. No, black people are perfect. Genocide is not going to affect you. No, black people are perfect. All you got to do is get away from these white people and you can be just fine. Come on, man. Stop being dumb. You can call it how you want. You can say white, black, or indifferent. But the founders of the United States of America were great people. They had something. It took us a little bit to get to a place where we were perfecting it. But somebody said Africa is not all black.
No, there's like Arab countries.
I'm saying most of Africa that you know, and even these Arab countries historically they were all black, and then they begin to mix the northern African countries, and then you go South Africa, okay, South Africa, but the rest of these countries, Cameroon, I mean I can go down the list, Nigeria, all these places are primarily black. All these places are primarily black, and don't say that they're not black now, because if you look at your heritage and you say, oh, I came from this country. Oh, you don't want to claim it now? Okay. Historically, they were black. Some of them do have mixing that have gone on. Some of them been gentrified. You can say what you want, but you got a whole continent to pick from. Go pick you an all black country in Africa, and then you talk to me about that, okay? And then you know what's the most flourishing country in the continent of Africa? Somebody put down here. Is it South Africa? Is the country that's the most successful or flourishing financially? Which country is it in the continent of Africa?
It was Libya until Hillary destroyed it.
Which one is it? I could be wrong. If South Africa is even close, then I don't want to even hear nobody arguing with me right now. However, America is the greatest place to be black. America is the greatest place to be black. And for all you rich black people that say it's not, then go move to Nigeria. Go move to Nigeria. Why did you move to Nigeria? Why did you want to live in Nigeria? Oh, okay. That's what I thought. Because you're safe in America. The structures that we have in America, the military that we have in America, all of those things put us in a position of success. And that's all I will say. And people keep saying Nigeria, which a lot of Nigerians come here. I met a lot of Nigerians, and some of them love Nigeria, and they're going back. Some of them say that they don't want to live in Nigeria, they want to live in America. Say Nigeria if you want to. Why is there not an influx of black people that's leaving here and living in Nigeria? Rich black people. I'm talking about the famous black people. Because they know they don't want to go to Nigeria. And you go over these places and you're an American and you think you're going to somehow kumbaya with people. Come on, get out of here. Get out of here. Every place got problems. Somebody said Nigeria is dangerous. It's safe in Nigeria, but it's easier to make bread here in America. I wonder why. Ask yourself the question, why? Why is it easier? Why is it easier to make bread in America than in Nigeria? Let's just go on race. Let's try to be racist about this. Who found, Nigeria? Who's the leadership in Nigeria? Who's the leadership in the United States of America? You say that's primarily black, this primarily white. Who figured it out? The primarily black country or the primarily white country? Who figured it out? Now, I don't know I don't know about Nigeria. I don't know much about Nigeria. I don't know if they have a large Christian presence or not. But I can tell you that America does. You can freely worship Christ here in America, unfettered. You can come over here as an immigrant and start a church tomorrow, and if you're good enough, it'll be successful. You can't do that everywhere you go. Why? Because these white people that were smart enough to establish the Constitution, are smart enough to have a document that speaks about we the people. They were smart enough to do it, and that's why everybody's dying to move here. Nobody's waiting in line to move to Nigeria from America. It's just not happening. I'll just keep it real. Nobody's in line. They don't have an influx problem where they say, we can't have more people, too many people moving here to Nigeria. No. It's too many people moving to America. We have 1 million immigrants a year that we legally allow to come over here. You don't, stop. Y'all need to stop being fake. I don't know why I got to be the bearer of bad news and Uncle Tom Coon to y'all. If people would just be real, then you would know. Stop whining, man. America is the best place to be. If you will actually be over here and fight for your rights here and fight for our country, maybe it'll be even better. Instead of you trying to be divided by race. And when your culture is probably the worst one. I was just saying, Asian people are dominating in academics, dominating in finances. Even the people that come from Asia and they send their kids over here to go to school, they're wealthy beyond imagining. Mexicans out here, they I have to give it to Hispanic people that come from Mexico or whatever, that migrate here, whatever. They smart. They're building empires. In Fort Worth, Texas, I remember my grandma's street used to be all black. Now it's Mexicans all down that street. And I remember I used to see that house had 15 people living in it. Now it's like 2 people. You know why? Because the rest of them bought houses on that whole block. They doing it right. They got 5 or 6 kids. They're having children like black people used to have kids. My great-great-grandfather had like 20, he almost had, 15 kids. My grandmother had 9 kids, or 7 kids, 6 girls and 1 boy. Now we at the abortion mill every day. Per capita, we're there the most.
It's healthcare though.
It's healthcare. Y'all let these liberals put posters of y'all fools up there talking about it's better to have an abortion than live as a black person in America. Y'all can't be that dumb. Mexicans out here taking over. They're out here taking over. I went to my friend's house getting built. What do you know? Backyard full of Mexicans out there working. I don't see a single black person. They out there playing mariachi music. Out there working in the backyard playing mariachi music. And then you look at the person who's helping out in the house is a Mexican. Black folks, y'all better get it together, man. I really do think that if we stop making excuses and start really focusing on our own community, really focusing on our community, and start really trying to help where we can, which is what I am dedicated to do, which is what Blexit does, then you'll actually see some changes. Incrementally, you'll see some changes. Incrementally, you'll help people realize that the culture is a problem. But if you keep listening to these people that just let you live along, go along to get along, and you can't address drive-by shootings and stuff, then you ain't never gonna make it nowhere. Anyway, I'm finna get up out of here. I'll save this video. I'm gonna put it up later. I love you guys. See you on the next one, man. I'm out.